Yes, I'm ready. Can you see my
Alright.
screen?
No, I can't see your screen yet. Can anybody see
Uh,
Kausa's screen?
No.
No.
Alright. So while
uh,
she's
Let me try and read.
while she's trying to rejoin, any other questions, guys? So if you can't hear me or Kausa, please try to leave the call and rejoin. So any other questions from anyone, guys? So please, as you're joining, keep your mics muted.
Can you see my screen now?
No, I still can't see it. What browser are you using? Are you using Safari?
Yes.
No, Safari has this issue. So use Chrome or maybe Explore. What's it called? This Microsoft
Okay.
Edge. Welcome, guys. Welcome to today's session. Kausa will be taking us on basics of DATS. So to properly understand Flutter, you have to have knowledge of DATS. So she's going to be taking us on the basics of the DATS programming language. What you need to know before starting out as a Flutter developer. So please take notes. You cannot distract the speaker while she's speaking. If you have any questions, you can just write them down. When you have the time to ask for your questions, all of your questions will be taken. For now, the floor is still open for questions. So if you have any questions regarding installation, regarding anything at all, you can ask. So if you have a question, signify by raising your hands. Godwin, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, Godwin.
My question, like I said, I am new. I joined yesterday,
Yeah.
so I don't know about the announcement group and the main group. Please, is there any other group that I'm supposed to join for the Flutter class?
Okay. What I'm going to do is for those of you that missed the introduction class, I think I'll do a poll to know how many people missed the introduction class. Then I can like maybe
Okay.
fix a time for us to have the introduction class again. The video is supposed to be up on the YouTube channel, but due to some reasons we don't have it yet. So I'm going to be having like another introduction class for those of us that miss the first introduction class. So any other questions, guys? For those of you that are having issues not being able to join, some people are not having access to the. So or everybody having issues to join, just tell them to like rejoin again. It's probably network or something. If you have questions, okay, Onome, go ahead.
Yeah. So for some reason, right, I can't get my iOS emulator on my Flutter on my system for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay,
Uh,
for iOS related installation issues, you can just reach out to me. Maybe after the class, I will fix that together.
okay. Thank you very
Yeah, you're
much.
welcome. Isaiah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please, my Android emulator.
Yeah.
I've been able to connect my phone. Like the Android Studio will pick the emulator, but when I tried running it, like it did not display anything on the phone. It was just loading. I don't know if
When you say
there's
loading, I don't understand. What do you mean by loading?
like it was just on the what's it called now? On the Android Studio, the console. It was showing trying to connect to I've forgotten what it said, but on my
Okay.
phone there was nothing.
Yeah. You have to for the first time. It's going to take you a while, and it depends on your network to download. Because for the first time, it will have to download Gradle and all of those packages it needs to install the application on your device, so it's going to take a while. And if you don't have a strong internet connection, it may even take longer time. So that is very, very normal. So you have to wait for it to like download all of those
All right.
required dependencies and all to install the app. All right, I think
All
Kausa
right,
is
sir.
ready. So Kausa, the floor is yours. Please do not distract the speaker while she's speaking. And if you have questions, signify by raising your hands and take your questions down. So when we get to the Q&A session, we'll take all of your questions. So do enjoy the session. Please pay attention to this class.
Good afternoon, everyone. At any point in time, if you guys can like hear me speak, just kind of raise your hands up or something. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, good. So today we'll be talking about introduction to that. So what is that? So, so this is me, something like that. Yeah. And you can follow me on Twitter. That's data types, standard input and outputs, control flows, object-oriented programming. So what is that? That is a general purpose programming
Sorry,
language
Kausa.
created by
Sorry.
Google in.
Meaning, Kausa, can you make this into a presentation mode?
All right.
Yeah, that would be better for the recording. You can just stop sharing your screen, then figure that one out. You can just okay, sit there. Slideshow. Just go to slideshow by the right top. Yeah. Yes,
All
there.
right. So you can start recording now. But I would love to like switch between. Okay. Anyhow, sure. So this is what we'll be discussing: introduction to that programming language, that comment, that data type, that variables, operators, standard input, output, control flows, object-oriented programming. So what is that programming language? That is a general purpose programming language created by Google in 2011. So that has been in existence since 2011 and it was created by Google. It is designed to be scalable, productive, and robust, making it suitable for building a wide range of applications, including mobile, web, desktop, and server-side applications. So you can that is actually like very versatile. You can use it for both mobile, web, and desktop. Then that is an object-oriented class-based language that supports features like asynchronous programming. So it includes a robust set of libraries and tools. So with time we'll be using libraries, right? Including a package manager, a build system, and an integrated development environment. So we are going to be using IDEs such as Android Studio. Sorry, Kenny. One of the main advantage of that is the ability to compile into native code for multiple platforms, including iOS, Android, web, and so let's leave all this story, Sha. Let's move to that comment. Escape. I would be using that pad and also let me just try and let's create a that file together. So we can actually do this in three different ways. It's either we create a folder. Let me create a folder from. So in case you want to do yours, you can just go to any folder you wish to create your that's today's class project. Sha. So I'll be creating mine under a folder called Flutter Project. I already have a folder, so I'll just create a new folder and name it, let's say, Bootcamp. So this is where we would save or we would write our that programming language for today. Now you have to move to your Visual Studio Code, file, open folder. So I would have to navigate into the folder I created earlier on, which is Bootcamp. Where is it? Uh, Let me go back. Sorry, I have too much folder. What I can get it just now. All right. So this is the folder. Then I would open on my Visual Studio Code. Now that's the first step. Then I can now create a file, that is a file inside this my bootcamp folder. So you just click on either this one, that is new file. If it is for folder, you can click on this, but let's create a new file
Okay.
and name it the example dot that.
Yeah.
Please note that anything you'll be doing, your file
So we're going.
extension. Can you hear me?
No,
Yes,
whatever.
All right.
unmute your mic, Counselor. You're muted.
All right. Please note that the file extension you are going to have must have .dart.dat, just like the way we have for python.py for javascript.js. So for that, you have it as .dart. So with this, we are able to write our Dart programming language. Very straightforward. And if you want to follow another method, you can just from this your Visual Studio Code also, or on Android Studio, you can use Control P, and if it is for Mac OS, you can use Command P. So you type, you press Command P, then the right arrow, Shift arrow, then you would see that the new project. So you can just click on New Project, then click on a command line application. This the second option. Then it says which select a folder to create this project in. So I'm still selecting this particular folder that I already have Flutter project. So I'm making this folder. I'm actually like I'm selecting this folder for it. Then click on select a folder. Then the name, let's give it another name. Let's say bootcamp underscore Flutter. Yeah, Flutter. All right. So with this, I am able to create a Dart environment for us to start our Dart programming language. Either you use the first method, or you use this, or you use the command line from your terminal. You would write. Let's also do that. New terminal. Let me move out from this bootcamp Flutter cd dot dot. So I want to create a new that file inside that Flutter projects folder that I created. So that was why I moved from this bootcamp Flutter to the that to this Flutter project folder itself. All right, to create a new that folder, like the way I created using the normal Visual Studio Code, the normal like command P, you can also do that from your terminal. So you come to your terminal, you write that create this dash C console, then the name of the folder you want to create. So I used example, let's say example, or let me say bootcamp underscore example. So running pubget. So I have done that. I've created a folder also for us to run our that programming language. So it's either you use the normal, you go to your folder itself, you do it manually, you create a folder, or you come to your Visual Studio Code, you do Command P or Control P, then you type in the right arrow, then click on new project, and you're done. Or you use the command prompt, this CLI. I'm trying to see, but okay, I'm still on the spot. Now let's move on. Or you can also use that part. Let me just there's no network. Therefore, I'm not on Discord again. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm using Globe. I'm already
Look,
catching my
okay. Oh, oh.
so Globe cannot work it. I don't know why. It worked. Bring it. Okay, Globe cannot work with that part. But if you are using another network, because I tried using MTN before I started this call, I don't know what happened to MTN. Decided to share. So let's move on. Let me go back to.
I have a question.
All right.
If I even do it for the month, we all we need just that expression, right?
Oh,
If I do DS code alone, all we need is that extension on the DS installed on the DS code, right?
yes. I didn't get it.
Yes, you have to have the data extension, but
Okay,
for
that one,
That's
yes. In
that's
case
the
you don't
thing,
have
right?
that,
yes, that's
just
what
come
you
to
need.
yeah, just come to this extension part, then
Please, I'm
search
so
for
sorry to
that.
interrupt. Please, can you
I've
just increase your
downloaded mine.
voice more, please? The voice is breaking down here.
Okay, it's probably
All
from your
right, I'll
end
try to.
because I can hear loud and clear. So, please, guys, let's reduce the interruption. Please stop interrupting. You can ask your question on the chat section.
All right, so let's move on. Our entry point for every that program language is our void main with a curly bracket. So this is our entry point for every that program language we're going to write. So any program we're writing today, it will be inside this curly bracket. Without this, we can't run our that programming language. So let's start. Let me start with print. Uh, let's say welcome to today's camp. All right. If you want to see the result of this, you just have to come to our terminal, new terminal, then that run. This is the command we are going to use, that run. The name of this file itself, example but that we have to be very careful about the name. If the name is different from what we have here, we won't be able to like run our that programming language. So enter. So can you see our output? Welcome to today's bootcamp. Welcome to today's bootcamp. So that is that under our entry point of that programming language. Now moving on, let's move on to where's my slide? To that comment. Sorry, a minute, please.
So while she's away, any questions, guys? Who has a question? How do we
All
get
right,
the okay, she's back and then how do we get to the terminal to run that?
all right, I'm back. All right, so hope you all understand our entry point for our that programming language. I'll take that as a yes. Moving on, wait, hope I'm not muted. Okay, yeah. Moving on, we have that comment. Marvel, please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, all right. So we have that comment. Comments are sets of statements that are not meant to be executed by the compiler. They provide proper documentation of code. So there are sometimes that, or let me say for efficiency, if you're writing your programming language or your data programming language and you want someone else to understand what you are writing, you can always just comment out that particular statement. So they are not meant to be run or like executed by the compiler. And we have different type of that comment. We have the that single line comment rather. We have that multiple line comment. We have that documentation comment. So I would show us everything. Yeah, let's move back to this. So I can have something like for single line comment, this is it. On your keyboard, you can just you have to like type the two forward slash, then you write the comment you want. Let's say this is just an introduction. All right, so this is a single line comment. Let me just write this is a single line comment. This is a single line comment. All right, so this is an example of a single line comment. Same as, let's say I have this is a single line comment. You can just come to this first part of your sentence, and on your keyboard you can have control and the forward slash. That's another shortcut. Either you use control the forward slash or command the forward slash. So we are good to go with single line comment. Then for multi-line, you have same thing as, let me uncomment this, then use. For multi-line, you have it as forward slash and a star here, then this asterisk and the forward slash. So this is how to comment for multi-line, right? And for documentation, let me still copy this. Contain. So for documentation, it is always three of those forward slash at the end, three at the front part, three at the last part. I'm going to tell you, shut up. You shut up. So that's for documentation, more like the third one. You shall not do it.
If the last do not please, you should not start.
All right, so please, do we all understand that comment? All right, I'll take that as a yes. So moving on, we have that data types. We have five different types of data types. We have number, we have strings, we have booleans, we have lists, we have maps. So data type in they are just like how we are declaring our variables. That is, we have for numbers, you surely have numbers in what you're writing your code. So they are referred to as the data type for numbers is number, and the keywords we use is int, double, and num. Int is for integer, more like whole numbers. Then double is those ones that have decimal parts. While num is just a normal whole, either int or double. So we have for string also. Strings represent a sequence of characters. Normal, this is a boy, this is a girl. They are strings, right? Then boolean is either true or false. The keyword for booleans is true. And we have lists. Lists, one thing about lists is we always have keys and values. Let me use this to explain better. So for number, the number in that programming language is a data type that is used to the int data type used to represent whole number, like I said earlier. The double data type that is used to represent 64 bits. The num type that is inherited data type for the int and double types. This is an example of a code that demonstrates data types. Now, because this is just a whole number, they have it declared as int, that is integer. If we have 2.0, they won't use int because it has a decimal part. So we are only going to make use of double if we have a decimal part in a number. Why this num1 and num2, they are variable names. We are still going to come back to variable names. Then print num1, that is the variable name here that you assign to this value you assign to a variable name. Print num2. So let me just write this here. All right, so let's move on. We have int, let's say number equals to 4. Int, now I want to show you something. Int number 2 equals to 5.0. And you see that it is throwing error because what the value is a type double, can't be assigned to a variable of type int, that is, it has a decimal part. We can't declare it with int. We can't use int as the data type. So we have to change this from int to double. I see that the error has gone. So that's the difference between int and double. Why for num? We have num, let's say num3 equals to 7.0. So let me just say 7. Then 7.0. Can you see either I use 7.0 or just normal 7? The num is not showing error. So num serves as it can take both integer and double. So that's all for data type number. Then we have string. String is used to represent a sequence of characters. It is a sequential of UTF-16 code. The keywords Keyword string is used to represent string literals. String values are embedded in either single or double quotes. Now, the difference between when you are declaring for number is you can see that there's no double quotes here, but for string you have to have what we call either single quotes or double quotes. So this is what we call single quotes. Now they have string, like I said earlier on, if you have to declare the keyword for string is the normal string, that is string. Then the variable name, they use string here, equals to gigs for gigs. If you notice, they are all in strings, in quotation rather, in single quotes. Same thing as this other one, same thing as this other one. Then print. So let's write our own to, like I said earlier, we have string. Please note that the keyword is in capital letter. Then let's say name equals, if I should write just Kausar, you can see that it is showing error because this Kausar needs to be in either a single quote or a double quote. So the difference, I'm sure we are seeing the difference now. If it is for string, they have to be in either single quotes or double quotes. So this is single quotes. So let me show you for double quotes. String, let's say first equals. So on your keyboard, if you want to have a double quote, just use command, then you see the double quotes. So you use command, the double quotes, or zip. So that's the difference. This is single quotes, this is double quotes. Let me just write it. Single quotes. All right, so moving on, we have Boolean. Boolean is when you have just two values, either it is true or false. So it represents Boolean values, true and false. The keyword bool, that is for, for number, the keywords we use are integer, int, double, and num. Then for string we have just string, but for boolean we have bool, and it's always have just two values, either true or false. So let's use this example. I don't want us to waste our time, so I'll just explain. Command v. So they already declared their first string here, as coding is, this is in a single quote. Also another to be fun, then bool value. Now they want to see if what we have here is equal to what we have here. That is, what the value here is, it equals to what we have here. So I would print that now. So bool val, this val is more like they are assigning a new variable name to check if this string str is equal to string one. So there's difference between this, a single equal sign and double equal sign. So single equal sign is more like you assigning a variable to something, but if it is for double, it's more like you using the word is, that is, you are checking something, you are saying is this equal to something. What we have here is what is inside there. Let me use that English for you. So we have print val, that is, we want to check if what we have here is equal to what we have here. So let's come to our terminal to see our results. So it should give us false, exactly false, because what we have here the value we have in str is different from the value we have in str1. That's why we have false. So bool is actually used to check, more like check what's inside a particular one, or let me say it is used to compare, to see if something is this, if it is true or if it is false. So if I'm to have fun and still run my option, so it should give us true, because what we have here is equal to what we have here. So that's what bool is just for. Then moving on, we have list. One thing you should note in list is we have what we call keys and values. That is, you are giving you are assigning a value to another value. That is, we have a key and we have a value. That is, let's say my name is name equals to Kausar. Name there itself is a key, while the value for name is the Kausar. That's actually right. Okay, they didn't give a good example here, but let me write an example from my notepad. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So let's go with the example. What are they using? They need to update this their website. All right. So we have. How would I explain this? Okay, this is mostly in list we have. Let me just write my own example.
I think the list theory, you can just put it as an empty list. They haven't updated their stuff on the website.
Yeah, that's stuff. Yeah. Let me just say item. So yeah, outside. Yeah, 19. Yeah, let's see reports. All right, so this is an example of a list. It is always in square brackets like this, and we have what we call index. Now, the index of Kausar is 0. The index of 19 is 1. The index of this Lagos here is 2. So in list, we have what we call index. That is, we are using index to know, okay, oh, what we have inside that particular list. More like you want to get a particular value for something inside the list. I don't know if you understand that explanation. Let me use a simpler one to explain. All right. So let's say I want to get the index of something inside this list. All I just have to do is let me write print what we have here, the variable name item. That is, I'm calling the variable name item, then a square bracket. Where is my square bracket? Then I have 19. Let me just write 19. Now it will give us our Blah, 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 blah. Oh,
I think you can try replacing with zero. You access it with indexing.
okay.
You remove the quotes and just zero.
All right. But I was trying to like get. Oh, sorry. That's a different example. So this is zero means that the index of this particular value Kausar is zero. So let's say we want to access the value for Lagos 2. Lagos has index of 2, so it should print Lagos as the value. So that's just what we have on that list. Then we have map. So that's all under data types for this. So we have map. The keyword used for map is map. Then let's have, so map, we have what we call keys and values. So let me use, let's say string, comma string. I'll explain this soon. Uh, equals to, let's say my items to be equal to curly braces and name. Turning name to cursor, comma. When you have 19, then I'm assigning 19 just number. Oh, I have that string. Let me just say age. Right. So for map, we have what we call keys and value. This is key, this is value. That is, name is equal to this. Age and one, that is, age is the key. The value for age is one. It's just like you saying places, then you have other places, we have Lagos. So that is what key and value is. Now, this year, on a normal day, if we want to declare our data type, we used int, we used string, we used boolean and all. Yeah, I used string. Now imagine you want to have, let's say 19. Yeah, it will throw error because I already said my keys are accepting only string. So it will throw error because this is not a string, like I said. But if you want to like change it, instead of you having, we have string here, we have number here. Instead of us having, we can have, on a normal day, you feel like, okay, let's have string and number together. Instead of that, we can just use dynamic. Now, dynamic shows that it can either accept string or number. So you can see that the 19 is no longer throwing errors. So that's what map is all about. Map, you have what we call keys and values. Then you declare what your keys and values are, the data type for your keys and value. Either it is dynamic or it is either for dynamic or string. So you can have dynamic, you can have string, you can have, as long as it tallies with what you have here, with what you're assigning. Now let's say we want to get an index of, let's say, okay, let's say I want to print a value inside there. Since I already said name is equal to Kausar, so we have print. items, that is the variable name items, to be equal to, so we have curly braces, we have, should I use age? Mhm. Maybe we have this.
Mhm.
Washing this. I can't. I can't.
I'm trying to print out the value. Just me.
Counselor, enclose it with double quotation mark and a dollar sign symbol. The
I think
print.
that's really
Sorry, what did you say?
funny.
Marvel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Alright. So we have that variables. A variable name is a name assigned to memory location where the user stores the data, and that data can be fetched when required with the help of the variables when calling its variable name. So mostly, let's say you have large values of stuff that you want to save. Instead of you writing, repeating the whole stuff, you can just always call that variable name. That is, it's more like a box. Take variable name to be like a box. We take variable name to be like a box that holds values. So that is what variable names is all about. So conditions to write variable name or identifiers are as follows. Variable names or identifiers can't be keywords. So if you are writing a variable name, make sure that it is not a keyword. Now, what are keywords? Keywords are like the strings, the int, the boolean, the bool, the maps that we've been using so far, they are keywords. So we can use keywords to assign as variable name. Then we have variable name or identifier can contain alphabets and numbers. That is, if you are writing your variable name, you can have alphabets, you can have numbers, but make sure that you can't start a variable name with a number. Okay, this is it here. So variable name identifiers can't begin with a number, but it can be in between strings or in between alphabets. Then variable names or identifiers can't contain, sorry, variable name or identifiers can't contain space or special characters except underscores and dollar signs. So I would still just like kind of, we have, let's say, int, example of variables name, like let's say name equals um, sorry, 7. Now we can have something like 1 that is a number to start variable name. It will throw error. We can have just normal space as variable name, but we can have number to be in between our variable names or something like this. And we can start a variable name with underscore. Anyhow you want to start, you can start with underscore or any other. You can start with also this dollar sign, but you can't start a variable name with just number to true error. So that's that under variable name. And you can use keywords. Example of keywords is this. Let's say you have int. It's going to that it's throwing error because int itself is a keyword. So you can assign keyword with a variable name. So you can use keywords for variable name. Now moving on from variable
Um,
name.
Kausar.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not printing inside the. Can you go to the VS Code
All right.
for this map? You know, you are using the print statement outside this main function. That was why it was throwing error the
Oh,
other time.
I was just thinking that what's happening. All right. So one thing about for map, like I said, it's more like you have keys and values. So I'm asking for the value for name here. So which it gave me as Kausar. I can also change it to, let's say, 19. 19. That is the value for 19 is 1. So that's keys and values. You can always like print out the value assigned to something. So you have your key, you have your value. Let's say you are having list of customers, then you want to print out the information about the customers. As long as everything are under values, you just have to like print then the variable name you assigned to that map, that is items, then open a square bracket with what you are trying to access, then you just print it out. So that's all about print, and that's all about map. Thank you, Marvel. So I have discussed that variables. So let's move on to operators. The operators are special symbols that are used to carry out certain operations on operands. So we are actually like, we are not new to programming language, or let's say we are not new to arithmetic operations. So we have arithmetic operations, we have relational operations, we have test types operators, we have bitwise, we have assignments, logical and conditional. So I would use gigs for gigs. Okay, same thing they have here. They have variables. All right, so operators, we have arithmetic operators. Now, examples of arithmetic operators are the addition sign, the minus subtraction, we have the unary minus, we have the multiply, we have the division, we have the division, and we have the modulus, more like the remainder. So this is an example. Like I said earlier on, this is our entry point for any DAS programming language. So we have void main, then our curly braces int, that is the keyword int, A, the variable name, they assigned A to be equals to 2, they assigned B to be equal to 3, then we have var, that is variable C, equals to A plus B. So you can either have int C equals to A plus B, then print sum of A and B is dollar sign. Now dollar sign is to more like core value of what you have here. So let's say we are trying to get the value for C. You can just use dollar sign then C. So it gives you the value of what you have here. Same thing as if you want to do for subtraction, we have D to be equal to A, that is A is 2, B is 3. So D equals to A minus B. Then print the difference between A and B is dollar sign D. Same thing as for difference. So let me just write. Alright, we already have integer. Let me just use this example we already have here. So we have var addition to be equal to number plus number 2. Let me just use num3 semicolon. So anytime I print, if I'm to print this value now, if I'm to print addition, if I'm to print the addition of these two, I just have to call the variable name that I assigned to the submission, that is print dollar sign
Cursor, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, what are you trying to print?
Oh, I think my network went off. All right, so can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
All right. So we have our printout to be 11, that is the addition of number, and number here is 4. I already assigned 4 to be the value of number, and I have num3 to be 7. So we have 7 plus 4, which is equal to 3. That is